Ever wonder what happens after you flush?
Most people don't, right?
Exactly. So today's deep dive, we're tackling that very mystery, diving into the world of wastewater treatment operators.
The unsung heroes of clean water.
Totally. And we're using RoleCatcher's career guide as our roadmap today. They go pretty deep.
That's a great resource, really thorough.
So let's jump in. What does a wastewater treatment operator actually do all day?
Well, it's a lot more than just, managing sewage.
Right.
It's about protecting public health, the environment. It's a big responsibility.
And RoleCatcher really emphasizes that, the environmental aspect.
It's crucial. So day to day, you're looking at a mix of technical stuff, operating equipment, monitoring the treatment processes, and then the scientific side comes in.
Oh, yeah, so.
Well, you need a good grasp of chemistry, biology, to understand how to treat the water effectively, making sure it's safe, meets all the regulations.
It's like a science experiment, but on a massive scale.
Exactly. And speaking of scale, RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat the work environment. These treatment plants, they can be loud, hot, you're dealing with,
Yeah, the yuck factor.
Yeah.
The guide mentions it, but I'm curious how operators handle that aspect of the job. It's got to be a consideration.
Definitely. It's not for everyone, that's for sure. But I've talked to operators who say, yeah, it's there, but you get used to it.
You adjust.
And the sense of purpose, knowing you're making a real difference, that outweighs the less appealing parts of the job.
It's a trade-off, I guess. Like any job, there are pros and cons.
Exactly. And one thing RoleCatcher highlights is this move towards automation, technology in wastewater treatment.
Oh, yeah, they talked about SCADA systems, right?
Right, supervisory control and data acquisition. So now you have operators monitoring and even controlling the entire treatment process from a computer.
That's wild. So it's not just about being hands-on anymore. You need those tech skills, too.
Absolutely. You've got to be comfortable with software, data analysis, troubleshooting, technical issues. It's a whole other layer to the job.
That's fascinating.
It's really changing the game, how technology is impacting these essential services.
For sure. And speaking of changing, let's talk career progression. RoleCatcher lays out a pretty clear path.
They do. They break it down into 3 main stages, kind of like you're climbing the ladder.
Okay, I like that analogy. So you start as an entry-level operator, then what?
Then you move up to junior operator, and finally you reach the peak, senior operator.
Sounds like a video game. Each level comes with more responsibility, bigger challenges.
Exactly. And one thing that really stuck out to me in the guide is how much they stress continuous learning.
Oh yeah, they're big on certifications.
Huge. Even for experienced operators, they're always encouraging folks to keep learning, keep getting certified.
Why is that so important in this field specifically?
Well, for one, it shows you're serious about your career, that you're staying up to date.
Right. Proving your knowledge.
Exactly, like a water treatment operator certification. That tells an employer you understand the processes, the regulations, everything.
It's like a stamp of approval. Right. From the industry itself.
Exactly. And as you climb that ladder, those certifications become even more important.
RoleCatcher gives these example profile snippets for each stage. And I noticed for senior operators, they're talking about advanced water treatment, SCADA systems.
Even project management, because at that level, you're not just operating equipment, you're managing people, projects, budgets.
The big picture stuff.
Exactly. So you can see how those certifications tie directly into those higher level roles.
Makes sense. You need to prove you can handle it.
Exactly. And that actually leads into another thing RoleCatcher stresses: networking.
Oh, yeah. They talked about professional associations, industry events, that kind of thing. How important is that for someone who wants to work in wastewater treatment?
It's huge. Attending conferences, joining associations, it's not just about what you know, but who you know, right?
Sure. Making those connections. It's all about building relationships, right? Networking.
Absolutely. And, speaking of knowing people, knowing what you're doing, RoleCatcher actually gives some pretty solid advice for anyone looking to get started in this field.
Yeah. What do they highlight as the key things someone should focus on?
Well, they're big on hands-on experience, which makes sense.
Yeah, get in there.
Exactly. Internships, apprenticeships, even if you can snag an entry-level position while you're still studying, that's gold.
Right, because it's one thing to learn about it in a classroom, but actually being out there in a treatment plant.
Totally different ballgame.
Exactly. You need that real-world experience.
It shows you're serious, like you're willing to get your hands dirty, literally, sometimes.
And, of course, we've got to mention the certifications again. RoleCatcher really hammered that home throughout the guide.
And for good reason. It's that validation, right? Tells employers you've got the knowledge, the skills they need. Especially as you move up, those certifications are key.
They open doors.
For sure. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from what these wastewater treatment operators actually do every day, to the perks, the challenges, even how to get your foot in the door. What about you? What really stands out to you as the most, I don't know, maybe surprising thing about this career path?
Honestly, is how it's both, like,
Right?
under the radar. Most people don't think about it.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. But then, at the same time, it's so vital. We need clean water. It's essential. And these are the folks making sure we have it.
Totally. It's essential, but often overlooked, you know? And it's not just about keeping things running the way they always have. There's so much innovation happening in this field, too. New technologies, new approaches.
Like we were talking about, the SCADA systems, that's pretty high-tech stuff.
Exactly. And that's only going to continue, especially with the demand for clean water increasing globally. I think this field is only going to become more important, more high-tech, more, I don't know, vital to, like, the future of our planet.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Every time you turn on the tap or, flush the toilet, there's a whole system, a whole team of people making that happen.
And the unseen heroes behind it all, making sure our water is safe, clean, protecting our health and the environment. They deserve a lot more credit than they get, that's for sure.
Couldn't agree more. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for the deep dive today. And for our listeners, if you're ever curious about a career path, maybe something a little off the beaten track, you know where to find us. We'll keep digging into these fascinating jobs, uncovering the hidden gems you might not even know about. Until next time, keep exploring.